workplace injuries don't just impact individuals, they impact productivity, morale, and business performance. Prevention's First Move program is changing the game by focusing on movement habits and physical intelligence to keep workers safe. Today, we're going to dive into how this innovative approach works, why it's different from traditional training, and the real world results it's delivering. Kia ora, I'm Carolyn Young, Chief Executive of Retail NZ. Today I'm joined by Alison Richmond, who's the founder and director of Provention. Welcome, Alison.
Kia ora, and thanks for having me.
Look, Provention's First Move program is designed to transform the way we think about movement and injury prevention at work. Let's explore how these innovative techniques and development methods help keep workers safe and healthy. So what is the core philosophy behind the First Move program, and how does it differ from traditional manual handling training?
Yeah, for sure. So I think those two questions, the core philosophy and the difference from other programs, can be sort of simply outlined in the objectives of the First Move program, because every component of the program, every sort of step in its development is really focused on those objectives, which is to give individuals the skills to have safe movement habits. And a couple of challenges around that. Firstly, what is safe movement? Because most individuals and a lot of health professionals don't actually understand what safe, effective movement is. And then there's that other piece, the habit piece. And unfortunately, a one-off training doesn't create a habit. And unless you focus on habit change, you're not going to get those results that businesses are looking for. Obviously the injury reduction and all those associated costs, and the improvement in employer wellbeing and all those great things that an effective injury prevention program should bring. So just a wee touch on that, and because I think that'll answer the question around the difference, is that safe movement piece I referred to. So the content of the program is based around the uninjured individual. What I like to call to, and you referred to in that introduction, is the physically intelligent individual. How do they use their bodies when they're pushing and pulling and bending and lifting and twisting and all those great things? You shouldn't say great things, all those common things that individuals are doing on a regular basis. And so that is the content of the program. It's based around the uninjured individual. And there's some really sort of core, when you start to look at the uninjured individual, some core differences or techniques or habits they have. So that's the content. And then we look at the delivery style. It's not a theory-laden course. It's an interactive training, so that rather than some expert telling someone how they should be moving, people feel it in their own bodies, the difference between effective, ineffective, or safe, unsafe movement techniques. And that really gives the individuals, I suppose, self-awareness, self-trust, and the ability to be able to make changes on a day-to-day basis. So I think that's where it's different. It's the content, it's the delivery style, and as I touched on, that whole focus around changing habits. So we have a whole lot of support resources, or the First Move program has a whole lot of support resources to ensure that businesses can achieve those goals.
And so we think about some of those practical techniques. What would be some examples, like the power position or the pinky power that's taught in First Move, about how to help reduce strain on the body?
Yeah, so I think one of the successes, and certainly one of the key attractions of the First Move program, is its simple language. It makes it easy for individuals to remember and understand. It makes it easy to apply to any situation, and it makes it easy for companies to reinforce it and that habit change. So just to give you a couple of examples, you mentioned one of them, the power position. So it's like, what's the power position? So that quite simply is how individuals use their arms when they're pushing, pulling, carrying, all of those common things. So quite simply, it's elbows pointing downwards, which means your thumbs up. So the power position is elbows down, thumbs up. And when people have their arms in that position, the key benefit is that it avoids any strain on the neck and the shoulder. So, avoids injuries like rotator cuff, which most people have heard of before. And then another really common simple phrase is toes follows nose. So this is a lot of back injuries are caused around twisting the lower back. So the simple reference for individuals to make sure their toes and their nose are facing the same direction makes it easier for them to have that self-awareness. So that's just a couple of the simple language principles.
Yeah, that's great little tips, actually. Thank you. So, what about some types of first move programs that are available? What that industries or roles would benefit from, in the retail sector?
Yeah, so the first move manual handling, which I've sort of referred to in most of this, which is our foundational program and what we're best known for. So obviously manual handling is anything that pushing, pulling, lifting, gripping, twisting, etc. So that's most industries. If you've got those sorts of environmental roles, it's beneficial for that, whether it be repetitive or sustained lighter activities, which can cause injuries, or obviously those heavy, awkward. So that's the first move manual handling. We then have for the more sedentary roles, first move office, and first move for drivers. So obviously anyone sitting in vehicles, trucks, harvesters, etc. So that's the office, merchandisers, maybe salespeople. We then have first move warm up, pretty self-explanatory around that. And a program we call First Move Recovery, which is a self-led stretch exercise program based on the areas in the body that people are feeling discomfort, like their lower back, for instance, or their shoulders. So a lot of our clients use this program for their early discomfort reporting program. It gives an immediate sort of action point around that. So they're our key programs.
Fantastic. So, I know that you've obviously been working with a wide range of businesses. Sort of what are some proven results or outcomes that you've seen, such as injury rates dropping or productivities improving, just as a direct effect of businesses being engaged in the First Move program?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll share a couple of recent case studies we've done, and obviously in the retail sector to make it relevant for your members. Yeah, so just bringing up this slide so there's some visibility around that. So you'll see here I've got just a couple to share. A large retail chain. So this is a business that has stores around the country. And I thought I'd also share the difference of the approaches that people have done to show that, no matter where you impact it, you'll get some good results. So this was the online program and what we call the habit maker resources. So they had a whole lot of resources to reinforce. They had a 67% reduction in manual handling related injuries. Another example I've got that you'll see NZ Safety Blackwoods. Most people understand what this business is. They've got distribution centres and trade stores naturally. They were involved in the interactive program, the trainer program. So they managed it in-house, as well as those habit maker resources. And they had a complete elimination of lost time injuries and a 70% reduction in first aid type of injuries. So a different approach, interactive. And then you'll see there, the last one I've got there this is a New World store. So just a single store in the Christchurch, Canterbury region. They once again used the online program, and they had a 70% reduction in those strain sprain related injuries. So it's just a couple of examples, and I'm happy to share but a whole lot more results if some of your members want to reach out and ask me about those.
Thanks, Alison. Look, I think that's really interesting because one of the things that we all are faced with is ACC payments. And if you can demonstrate to ACC a reduction in your injuries and improvements and things that are happening in your business to ensure that your staff are safe, it's going to have a positive impact on your levies that you have to pay to ACC. So you're investing in one place and you're getting higher productivity, more staff in situ and safely every day, and lower premiums or lower levies from ACC. So win-win, I think, from everybody from that perspective. One other quick last question, when you're thinking about habit forming, how long in this situation would it take to form a habit?
Well, that's $1 million question around that. There's so much research in neuroscience. It really depends on the complexity of the habit. But we say, and some of the resources we have, we say if we can just concentrate on some habit change for a month, just little and often, you think about any habit, little and often, within 3 to 4 weeks, most people are really starting to embed those new movement habits. They just need reminders. You don't have to be a neuroscientist to know that you need to practice to create a habit.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, thank you so much for joining us today, Alison. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you and hear how Provention is working with retailers to support their staff safety and wellness.
Thanks so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Look, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. And look, don't forget to visit Provention at www.provention.co.nz to find out more. This was part of our Empowering Retail series, your go-to resource for short, actionable insights designed to take your retail business to the next level. Watch out for other episodes and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, ka kite anō. Bye for now.